Good afternoon, I'm Matt Ottinger, and I'll be your host for this Internet training series. I'm also the telecommunications coordinator for the Okemos High School. Okemos Public Schools are one of the fine educational institutions within the Ingham Intermediate School District here in mid-Michigan. With me today for the first lesson in our series of 6 lessons is Joan Toy. She is the Instructional Technology Specialist for the Ingham Intermediate School District, and Joan has been at the forefront of educational leadership when it comes to the internet. Joan, first, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about the purpose of our program today.
Actually, there are 3 purposes for having this program. The first one is to provide professional development for teachers who would like to know more about the internet and how to use it with their students and personally. The next one is through this series to facilitate communication between the participants themselves and between the participants and the instructors. And the third one is increasing the awareness of teachers, because once they find out all the wonderful things that are out there on the internet, teaching will never be the same again.
Absolutely. It's going to be a fascinating series. As I said, there's a series of 6 programs. Tell us a little bit about what to expect in each of the programs in our series.
Okay. The first thing is each session will have a demonstration, a live demonstration online. And along with those, there will be examples of how that can be used with students. There will also be some practice time. There will be each time a homework assignment, which is generally online. And there will be the assessments of the participants, which are very important to us. And then the final thing is that during each session, people will be able to call or fax their questions, and as much as possible, they'll be answered during the broadcast.
All right, that sounds good. In fact, let's tell people about that telephone number. It is a toll-free number you can call anytime during the telecast. It's 1-888-4-INGHAM. That's going to confuse a few of you. It confused me when I first saw it. It's not an 800 number. It's a toll-free number, though, 1-888, the number spelled out 446-4426. You can call in and talk to our operators anytime during the telecast. If you'd like to fax your questions to us, you can use that same number to do a fax. Now then, let's get to one of our first packages here. Some teachers, of course, are already up to speed on the information superhighway. Some of you, of course, are watching some students passing you by in the fast lane. Some of you are a little confused as to what it's all about. We'll start there with the basics. Here's a quick overview of exactly what is the internet. The National Science Foundation Network, known as NSFNet, forms the basis of the internet in the United States. Created over 20 years ago to connect computers at universities and research centers across the country, today the internet is a global information superhighway, a rich resource offering information and interactive communication for industry and education. Researchers have access to a vast array of computer databases. Businesses, schools, professional and trade organizations, and government agencies increasingly rely on electronic mail or email for daily and almost instant communications. As the internet expands its reach around the globe, educators have the opportunity to bring the world to their classrooms. All right, now no matter how you're connected to the internet, you're connected by some sort of a network. InghamNet, MishNet are a couple of terms that we're going to use. But Joan, let's start with something a little bit more fundamental than that and tell us what exactly is a network and what are the different types of networks.
Well, let's start with the smallest of the networks, which would be called a local area network. As you look at this model on your screen, you'll see that what we have here is computers that are linked together in some way with a server, which is down on the right-hand side. And the key to this whole thing is that that server has some kind of information on it that the other computers need or want. In a local area network, this might be in a computer lab, as an example, where all the instructional software might be housed. Or it could be in a school where there's one computer per classroom that's linked to a server. And that might contain attendance or grading programs or something of that sort. But once again, the real point is that the server actually serves the other computers.
And that would be abbreviated LAN, by the way, when people
LAN,
see all these numbers and letters that come up. LAN is
Yes.
Local Area Network, as opposed to a wide,
wide area network. And so here we are looking at a schematic of a wide area network. As you can see again, down to the right, there are some local area networks that are attached in some way to these other servers, which again have some kind of software that the local area networks want to use. The server may be located in Pennsylvania, it may be located in the UP, or another server is InghamNet. And the software that InghamNet provides is Mail, and it also provides for menus that you can access that will take you to other servers around the country and around the world.
All right, terrific. And of course, people may be familiar with other kinds of servers that are available. The commercial services that you hear about, like America Online and Prodigy and CompuServe, in addition to services that they uniquely provide, they also provide you access to the internet. Is that correct?
That is correct.
There you go. And regardless of the gateway that you use to get to the internet, the way things work once you get on to the internet all pretty much work out just about the same way. We're going to start one of our lessons right now. Donna Raybeck is the Ingham Intermediate School District Department Head for Instructional and Administrative Technology. She has prepared a step-by-step demonstration on how to get online, the most basic step of getting on the internet. Remember, you can call or fax your questions at any time throughout our telecast. The number is 1-888-4-INGHAM. Now here's Donna with the step-by-step explanation of how to get online.
During the next few minutes, you will see a demonstration of dialing in to an internet server, accessing or doing a login with an internet provider, logging into an internet server, and sending and receiving internet electronic mail. Before I begin, let me mention that while I will be using an IBM Pentium system with Kermit software and a 28.8 speed modem, these are variables that will change from location to location. You do not need to use precisely the same equipment that I'm going to be using in order to be successful in connecting to the internet. I also need to let you know that while we have identified some particular software packages and we'll be looking at one or two specific sites, conceptually, many of the things that I will be showing you are things that you will see in your own systems. To begin with, we will be using the Kermit software. Kermit is called a communications package, and it is available in both the Macintosh and PC formats. And it is public domain software, and that makes it available nationwide, and it's a fairly useful product. We're at the point at which we're about to dial in. I'm going to key in the command for dialing, and that's ATDT. And then I'm going to put in what's called a local access number. This phone number only works for me in the greater Lansing, Michigan area. You will need to check your own locality for a phone number which will give you local access to an internet provider. As I enter my phone number and press my enter key, you're going to hear some different sounds. When the word host appears on the screen, we're ready to actually set in the commands to connect us through our internet provider. In the state of Michigan, our provider is Merit. You may have an internet provider such as America Online or one of the local universities in your geographic area. What I'm about to key in is the name of the server that I wish to access. And the server name locally that I'm attempting to access is isd.ingham.k12.mi.us. With that entered, I'm hitting the enter key, and the next item that I need to key in is my specific login. That is my part of my electronic mail address. That's D. Raybeck, it's 8 characters, all lowercase, at Ingham. That's followed with my password. This password is unique to me as a user, and you will not be able to see that password on the screen, nor do I see any keystrokes when I'm keying this in. Now I've made it through the internet access provider, and I'm now at my internet server. InghamNet is a service that's provided to educators in Ingham County in Michigan. Each of you in all the states have some type of server that you are logging into, whether it's through a free net or through a university. This is the point at which you would enter your specific login for that server. I'm going to key in again my name, but I no longer need to identify the server because I'm there. And again, I need to enter my password. And I have a few introductory messages. I have an indication that I do have some mail, and there's always a key command or a prompt there telling me what I need to do next. So I will press return to continue. The first screen that appears for me is a screen that's identified as the InghamNet registered user home page. This page is the page that I see as a registered user. Only people who have electronic mail addresses on the InghamNet server are able to see this page. Something that's unique on this particular page for users is the access to the post office. And I can maneuver around this menu or this screen by using the tab key. And if you'll notice, as I press the tab key, that the highlighter moves from place to place on the menu screen. I can also move around using the up and down arrow keys. The highlighter bar needs to be located on the location or the keywords of the function that you wish to access. I have moved the highlighter to the words post office. I'm going to press my enter key, and I have now reached the InghamNet post office menu. That menu allows me to do a number of things. I have 2 mail packages available to me here. One is Pine, one is called Elm. I have a directory listing InghamNet users. I have access to Usenet news, some advanced features. I could forward mail to another email address. And I have the opportunity to pick up some documentation to help me with one of the mail packages. We're going to deal with the Pine mail software at this point. And as a little bit of background, both Pine and Elm are public domain software packages. So they are in common use throughout the country. As I select Pine, my screen is going to go directly to a mail screen, and on this mail screen I have a listing of all of my mail messages. I'm going to talk just a moment about how the mail messages are set up in Pine. Again, you may have a mail package that looks slightly different, but most of these features appear in your mail message in some form or fashion or in a different location on your screen. One option that I have with this particular mail package is to know if a message has been mailed directly to me or if it's been a group mail. The plus sign on the far left indicates that this is mail that was specifically addressed to me. The second column is either blank, or perhaps there's a letter N there to indicate that it's new mail to me, that I have not opened it as yet, or perhaps it's mail that I provided in answer to, so there's a letter A. The messages are also numbered. They're followed by the date in which they were sent and the name of the person that the mail came from. That's also followed by the size of the mail and the subject line. So generally speaking, in most mail packages, you will have a configuration that does all of these kinds of things to let you know about your mail. If I wish to read a piece of mail, all I need to do is highlight the mail package or the mail message that I wish to read. I pressed the enter key after I had the mail message highlighted. And what's on the screen is a message that has come from something called a listserv. And we'll be talking a little bit more about listservs in the third lesson. What I'd like you to look at now is the format that the mail message arrives in. It's a fairly standard memo format that you'd find on a paper message. You have the date, you have who the message is from, who it's to. There